Hi, I'm Vicki with GNR Design. I'm going to try to get this up on my phone. Hopefully I can see your comments. I am tonight going to be making a year-round wreath. I'm trying to get this all set up. You know, technology. Okay. Hi, I'll start this over. I'm Vicki with GNR Design. I am going to be working on making a wreath tonight. I'm working on a year-round wreath. So if you come into the video, if you would leave me a comment, say hi. I can't tell who I've got on here unless I see a comment. Tell me where you're from. Share the video if you'd like. That'd be great. Facebook Lives make me extremely nervous, but that's okay. So anyway, I'm going to get on into it. I see two little eyeballs, but I don't know who's on here. So if you come into the video, say hi so I know who's watching. I'm not just talking to my camera here. And I'll tell you what I've got going on here. Okay, this is it's an evergreen wreath. These would be used at Christmas time. Usually you find these and they're green for Christmas, but somehow I came across these. These came from Sims Pottery, and they're a burlap color. So, but they would typically be like an evergreen. Hi, Luann. This is what I'm using to make this wreath, and I'm going to show you how you can use these for a design, for a year-round design, or any season. So let me see if I can move some things around so I've got a little bit of room here. I'll show you what I'm working on. Hi, Jim Husselman. I've already got one piece of the mesh in just because I wanted to see the sizes. Now, one thing about this particular wreath form, I'm not sure why, but usually when you get the green ones at Christmas time, the needle ties are much shorter than these. These are about 6 inches long. So the last one that I used like this, I actually had to come in and trim some of them down because they were just too long. But it does give you a lot of room to work with when you're gluing in all your elements or tightening your mesh or whatever. So I'm using a 10-inch, it's a poly burlap. The last one that I did was all the burlap color, but this one does have a little bit of the white stripe. It's 10-inch. I'm going to cut these in. I've got a few cut already in 20-inch length pieces. And then I'm going to also add in a little bit of this frayed burlap. It's 10 inches also, just to give it more of a rustic look. And then the ribbons that I've chose, this is a black and white, I don't know if you call this a harlequin or not, but it's a black and white check. It's got that kind of antique-y white color. And this one is it's a birch pattern ribbon because let me back up here. My focal point for my wreath is this sign right here. And it's got, if you can see it closely, I'm trying to watch the camera. It's got kind of a birch wood kind of background, and then the leaves are kind of a silver. So I've also chosen a silver ribbon that I'm going to work in as well. So that's my plan. So I've got a few things cut up, and I'm trying to make sure I've got enough room here. So I'm going to move things around and get on with it. Got 7 little eyeballs, but I don't know who you are. If you come into the video, if you would leave me a comment, tell me where you're from, then I see who's on the video. Otherwise, I have no idea who's watching. I can't see on this end. So I've cut these, like I said, in 10 or 20-inch lengths, and I'm just going to use the ruffle technique and ruffle these up and put them in the wreath form. You can use these forms all year long. So this is it turns out like a little butterfly or bow tie, and I'm just going around the wreath and finding a couple of tinsel ties that are in the place that I want and twisting them in. You cannot see. You cannot see me. Somebody's saying they cannot see me. Do I need to move the camera? So this is what we're doing. We're twisting these in to the tinsel ties that's on the wreath form. Oh, okay, you see me. There's a delay from the time you guys hear me and then I see the comments. So there's a pause there. So I'm just kind of going back and forth and finding different spots and working these pieces of mesh in. And like I said, these are really long ties. So you guys ready for the Super Bowl? Got big plans? Who you rooting for? I'm just going for the commercials. Is the snow melting up there, Luann? It's dripping off of our house. It's going to be a big muddy mess, but I'll take it. I'm sure I will have to cut more mesh. If you're watching the video, if you would leave me a comment, that way I know who I've got on here. That would be great. So you all heard that the groundhog saw his shadow, right? Or is it that he didn't see his shadow? Whatever one it means when it's supposed to be an early spring. I can never keep up on that. Maybe he didn't see his shadow, and that's a good thing. I don't know. Yeah, it's dripping off our house too. Okay, so we've got the little ruffles, and I'm just going all the way around the wreath and working this in. And I have a feeling it will take the full roll of mesh. I hope we have an early spring. I have never seen, Luann, you make wreaths. I've never seen these forms before in this color. But for this particular wreath, it works out great. I don't know if it's thicker, but the needles are longer. The ties, the twist ties are longer. I don't think that it's really thicker. Just depends on where you get the form, I guess. But the needle ties are definitely longer. Some of them on the last one that I did, I actually had to come back in and clip some of them down. But for this kind of wreath, it doesn't matter. Okay, I'm going to have to cut some more mesh. And again, I'm cutting this 20 inches long. It does make a really full wreath. Now we were debating on whether, because I had this planned, and my gas tank ran out in my garage. So we were kind of debating on whether I was gonna do this tonight or tomorrow. And I decided I don't want to try to compete with Super Bowl parties, so let's do it now. Who have I got on here? I see 7 eyeballs. When you come into the video, if you would say hi, I know who's watching. Work some of this in. Luann, are you going to Wreath Makers Live? I've been meaning to ask you that. The one in New Orleans. Yes, I am going. We're going to turn it into a vacation. We've never been to New Orleans, and so I got my ticket and we are going. Jim's going with me. It's going to be so much fun. I went last year and it was a blast. Learned a lot. Oh yeah, I'm sure, yes. I'm sure it is. I haven't made, well, I made one football wreath last year. And honestly, I don't remember what I used as far as the base. But this kind of mesh, the coloring is perfect for just about anything. But the needle ties they take a little bit of getting used to, because they are much longer. And they kind of want to hang up on sometimes on the mesh. Hello, Joanne. It's a pine wreath, but the coloring is so much different. I mean, that's how it was described when I bought it. But the needles are more of a burlap color, kind of a sand color. So, I mean, for this wreath, it works great. But I mean, you could use a pine wreath; it would be fine. You're going to put so much stuff on it to cover it up, you'll never know the difference. And I've got greenery that I don't know if you guys can see it, a bunch of different greenery that I'm going to add in. So by the time I get everything in there, you won't be able to see the base anyway. I love these kind of wreath forms because of that, because they're so versatile and they're so easy to add things in. And most people, I don't think about using them, you know, all year long for different designs, but they work great. I got my narrator on the other side over here. So he told me that he would come out here if I can't catch comments and talk to me or tell me what y'all are saying, because it's hard to work and watch the comments at the same time. And I'm trying to read them on my phone, but my camera's over here, so I'm not ignoring you. No, the burlap, the color of the wreath form is a kind of a burlap color. So here is how I've got it filled up so far. And this one is so full that some of the needles on the back, I just kind of pull to the back because I'm not going to actually need them all. And they're really long, but they work great. So I'm going to add a few more pieces in, and then we'll get to the ribbons. The last one I did, I used a whole roll of the mesh. And I've got some of the other mesh that I want to add in too, just because I like the frayed burlap look. It's been real popular. Yes, I got the form at Sims Pottery. And I'm cutting these pieces of mesh 20 inches long. I think I need a new blade. mesh, when you get it down to the bottom, it wants to roll up on you. You're welcoming them. Welcome everyone. If you've never watched one of my videos before, let me go back to the beginning. My name is Vicki. My business is G&R Design. You are talking on comments to my husband Jim, and I'm glad you stopped by. I am working on an evergreen wreath. I call it evergreen or year-round because it really would work for any season. Most seasons. You might want to change it for Christmas, but this kind of a wreath form makes a really full wreath. I have 7 eyeballs. Welcome everyone. If I haven't caught your name when you came in, welcome. I'm glad you're watching. If you would share the video, that would be great. Angie from Scotland. Wow, welcome. I'm just trying to get this even, or fairly even. Thank you, Luann. Thank you for the shares. Yeah, I caught some of your videos. Okay, I've got 2 Luanns on here. I caught some of your videos, Luann. They make me extremely nervous still. And I've done several. I'm just going to be honest. Let's see what I can get out of here. No. Okay, so now I'm going to come back in with a little bit of this frayed burlap. I mean, it's not going to do much as far as filling up the wreath. This is what we've got so far. But it just adds more of that frayed burlap rustic look, and I like it in this type of wreath. So these pieces I'm cutting in 10-inch pieces. And again, ruffles, and they make the little bow tie look. And I'm going to keep these more towards the front of the wreath so that they're more seen. But I am going to use them to try to cover up some of the holes where we didn't have enough of the other mesh. Let me get a few added in here. I'm going to have to cut some. Yeah, it's hard when you're trying to work on a wreath or whatever you're working on. I mean, some of you may do videos on other items, but to watch comments, work on, concentrate on what you're working on, and, answer questions and communicate. And so many times in some of mine, there's been lots of dead spots. I kind of get zoned into what I'm working on and I forget. That's why I've got the hubby reading comments for me. One of these days, he's gonna do a live. I think we should all try to get him to do a live and he can make a wreath. Okay, I gotta put on the cheaters, you guys. Okay. Oh, you'll like it. It was kind of the Mevo. It was kind of a pain to set up, but it works really well. There he is. Will you turn that heater off for me? It's getting warm in here. Oh, you're all set.
That's true. Said it can't be any harder than mini chat.
Oh, mini chat. Oh my God. I went through the process to get it all set up, mini chat, and apparently I have it set up, but there's some hiccup with it somewhere because I got a notification or email or something that said I was set up and that I had 2 new subscribers, and I've never even sent out a message or gotten a message on it, so I don't know. I need to go back through and figure it out. Is your mini chat working? Hi, Ginger. Mine, I do not believe is. But I could be wrong. I don't know.
What's that?
The mini chat. I have got it sort of set up, but it's not right.
When White said she just got her Cricut, that was her big expense this year and still in the box, and I told her it's easier than you think.
Yeah, I got a Cricut 2 years ago, and he uses it more than me. I've made a few signs. I've got to get it out and learn it more, but I want to use it.
Ginger said, good evening.
Hi, Ginger. I want to use it for some custom signs for wreaths, but I haven't gotten that far. I will, though. I'll get there. Let me see if I can get a couple more pieces off this.
Luann White said she's electronically challenged about a Cricut, and I told her that she'll be fine with it. It's easy.
Yeah. That's easy for you to say. I haven't figured it out yet.
It's like reverse using your printer. Instead of you taking somebody else's information and printing it out on the printer, you print it out on the Cricut.
But there's so many possibilities with it. It could be a really cool tool.
Oh yeah. Luann White said, I'm a painter that learned to make wreaths, so I do letter by hand, but thought the Cricut would make it easier. It will, Luann. And you can save your design and redo it.
Yeah. Thanks for watching, Angie. Yeah, be sure and come back and watch the replay. Good night. Okay. I think we have enough in here. This is what we've got. I have to put it on my wreath stand so I can kind of step back and see if I see any holes. And I think it looks pretty good. Did you see how the frayed burlap just added a little bit of a new texture? When I get the greenery and stuff in, it'll really pop. So the next thing I'm going to do, I've got my sign wired.
Angie said, your wreath looks amazing. I will have to catch your... Oh,
I
you
saw
got that.
that.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw that.
And Luann Douglas said, don't feel bad, Vicki. I can't figure it out either. My husband is a retired art teacher, so he knows how to do all that stuff.
Oh, nice.
That's all right, Luann. Vicky's husband is a retired autistic.
No, you're not. My husband is retired Army, and he is the tech guy in the family. He's good at all that stuff. He's working on my website for me right now. Me, not so much.
Ginger said, love the frayed burlap, and Luann says she's loving it.
Thank you. Okay, I'm just pushing some of these needle ties that I know are going to be in my way because this wreath is so full down to the bottom. You know, the biggest challenge I have when I'm doing one of these is seeing the top of it because I'm so short.
It's because she needs a booster.
Yeah, so I'm pushing some of this burlap back out of my way. And here's the trick. So this sign, let me back up a bit. This sign came with 2 little holes already on it. I had Jim drill me a couple of extra ones, and I've got my floral wire already attached. I've got 4 pieces on the back, and the trick is here to get them connected to the wreath frame. So here goes. And I will end up having to switch and turn this thing over at some point.
For those of you saying thank you for my service, it was my pleasure most of the time. For a few times, not so much, but...
He's my hero.
My wife, Vicki, stayed with me the whole time. That's the only reason I have 10% sanity left. She's put up with me for 35 years, 24 of which were in the Army.
Yeah, you're a tough pill to take, man. Sometimes.
I'm sure.
No. We got to go a lot of places and see a lot of things. It was quite the adventure. Wouldn't change it for a thing. our youngest daughter was born in Germany, which, well, let's just say having a child in Germany was quite an experience.
Luann says when her husband retires, they're going to Juneau, Alaska.
Nice. You're moving there or just going there for a trip?
Pack your bikini, it's warm there.
Yeah. It might be warmer than Indiana sometimes.
It probably was warmer than Indiana a couple days ago.
I think I did see something that said it was. Or somewhere in Alaska. I don't know for sure where.
Find us some gold while you're there in Alaska.
I've seen pictures and heard that Alaska really is beautiful.
Oh yeah. Unfortunately, we didn't get sent to Fort Wainwright or any of the other Alaska installations for the
I'm
Army.
still here, you guys. I was just stuck behind the wreath form. This is the hardest part, in my opinion. Getting that sign wired on there. Because, you know, you're fighting the ties and the mesh, and we'll get it.
Luann White, tell your husband I said thank you for his service. She said he spent 4 years in the Navy before they were married. He's 4th generation military. I don't know how many generations I am.
Wow. Picked the wrong time to wear a scarf, I know that. I got 10 eyeballs, you guys. Thanks for watching. I don't know who all we've got. We're just making a mess of a wreath here. Yeah, I missed a tie. I've got this one, and this one. I'm missing one. There it is.
Luann said the signs are the hardest sometimes.
They are. They really are. I mean, depending on, like a grapevine, it's not so bad, but this kind of a wreath form, yeah. And I will come back later and trim these wires down because I've got way more wire than I need.
Ginger Kroloff is from southeast New Mexico.
Really?
Hello, Ginger. And Luann's from central Indiana, like we are.
Luann's from, is it West, I think West Lafayette? Somewhere north, a little bit further north than us.
She just said central Indiana. Yeah. Oh, Kewanee. Oh, no, that's Luann White. Yeah. Luann Douglas is from central Indiana.
All right, y'all.
And there's a Joanne from Nova Scotia, Canada.
Wow, welcome.
I want to go up there and check out Oak Island.
Is that where it's at?
It's off the coast of Nova Scotia.
I've been to Canada one time, and I was like 15, and we went on a fishing trip. Okay,
yes,
so.
Luann Douglas is from West Lafayette.
West Lafayette, yeah.
Where the college is, Purdue.
Yeah. Jim worked up there for a while. He was a recruiter out of Lafayette.
Dina Denise Gonzalez. Hi, Vicki.
Hi,
hello, Dina.
Okay, here's what we've got. Let me see if I can get this straight. I'm looking at it backwards. Nope, wrong way. Is it straight, honey?
No, you're tilted. Go this way some, a little farther. There you go.
Okay. I've got the wreath or the sign tied in. West Lebanon. Okay. Where's West Lebanon? It's north too, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it's the upper part north of Lafayette. It's West Lafayette is where she said, I think.
She said West Lebanon.
Did she?
Yeah.
If it's West Lebanon, that means it's west, on the west side of Indiana, about center, a little bit down from
Okay.
Lafayette.
I know it's north of us. Now I'm going to come back through and tie or twist my ribbons in. So I've
And
already
you're
got
right,
some
she did
cut.
say West Lebanon.
West Lebanon, yeah. I already went through these ribbons, but one more time for people that's just joining me. The sign, although it looks like it's tilted, has on the sign some of the leaves are kind of a silver color, and then the background is kind of it looks like a wood, kind of a birch. So I've chosen this birch ribbon. I've already cut some pieces. I'll probably have to cut some more. I cut these 14 inches long, and a silver ribbon. It's really more of a gray, but it is a little bit shiny. And then this black and white, I don't know if you consider this a harlequin or not, but the little checks, and it's got the kind of a beigey background. I really like these. So I'm just going to go around the wreath and twist some of these in. And the way I'm doing that is the silver ribbon or the gray is a 2.5 inch, and these are 1.5 inch. Again, these are all cut 14 inches long. And I'm just laying the smaller ribbon on top of the larger one, finding the center, pinching it, and finding a twist tie in, tying it in. You don't really have to go back to the mesh, the center of the pieces of mesh. Sometimes it's easier if you find where you twisted in the mesh already. And for these, because the twist ties are so long, I don't even have to open the twist ties up if I put them on where I've already connected the mesh. I can just twist the ribbon, lay the ribbon right on top of it. And I did not chevron the ends of these because this gray one wants to ravel, so I'm just rolling that under. Just dividing my ribbons and rolling the ends of them under a little bit. Because, like I said, that gray wants to ravel. Yes, he traveled 65 a lot. So I'm going to alternate these back and forth. I'll probably have more of the silvery gray than the other ribbons because it's the 2.5 inch. I did not choose 4 different ribbons just because these colors just really seem to work well.
Luann Douglas asked, is the gray Duponi?
Yes, yes it is. And the ribbons, let's see, where did they come from? I believe this one, the gray, came from either the Wreath shop or Craft Outlet. I know the birch, I think they all came from Craft Outlet. The birch is it's a 50-yard roll, and so is the black and white. And it came from Craft Outlet. They're coming out with more of the big rolls, and I really like it. It makes it handy if you do, the same type of wreath over and over to have the bigger rolls of ribbon, because that's the worst thing is to have an order for a wreath and you can't find the ribbon. That happened to me at Christmas time.
Thank you, Ginger. She set me straight that it's a silk.
Oh. Oh, the ribbon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she said she likes the birch also.
Yeah, it's hard to find a design that birch works in though. But for this one with the background on that sign, it blended real well.
Yeah, Vic is getting better at ordering larger rolls because she'll develop something and make it. People like it, and in the past she had to worry whether she could find it or not. So now she orders bigger rolls so she can make more of them.
Yeah, and it's cheaper. It's in the long run, it's cheaper.
Luann Douglas said she likes the big rolls.
Yeah, I love them. So I'm just kind of alternating the gray and the birch, the gray and the black and white, and then every now and then I'm going to put the two 1.5 inch together. And I'm just scattering them throughout the wreath, no pattern. It's not like the same kind of work wreath form that you would use on your typical deco mesh wreath. There's, you just kind of make your own pattern.
Keep watching.
This birch ribbon is really stiff. So we're just going through here and filling this up. No, Dina, it quit snowing, and I don't know how warm it was for sure today, but it's supposed to be like, I think 60 by Monday, or I think Monday. Yeah, no, the snow is melting. Yay! Yeah, I'm over it. It's melting, and we're going to have little puddles everywhere. But you know the one thing, if you live in Indiana, which, Luann, you'll appreciate this, I'm sure. The one thing that the snow and ice is good for is to fill up the potholes. Because once it melts, yeah, then you get to find out where all the little potholes are and hope that your car doesn't fall in them. And that's Indiana. And, it's anytime it's been a really, really exceptionally cold winter, yeah, it gets worse. This birch ribbon, it's sometimes on some of the pieces it's hard to see which is the front and which is the back. But yep, our snow's melting. It was dripping off the house today, dripping off the garage. I'll take it. I'll take it any day over those cold, cold days or the snow. Snow's not so bad. It's the ice that I don't like. But I am ready for spring. We have a lot of home remodeling projects that I want to get to. Those are always fun. And hopefully we will find the time. And Oliver, our grandson, if y'all follow my page, you probably know who Oliver is because I post pictures of him frequently. Will be old enough this year to, get out and enjoy a few things. Last year he was just learning to walk, and you had to, you know, kind of limit the activities that it was safe for him to take part in. But yeah, we'll have fun this year. I'm going to hold the wreath up here in just a second so you can see. I know it's hard to see when I've got it laying flat here what I'm doing. So every now and then, remind me if I forget to hold it up so you can see what I've done so far. The one thing I can say about that gray ribbon is the wires are really, it must be a wider wire or something, because they're kind of hard to work with. I'm just rolling the ends under. I didn't chevron them because that one wants to ravel real bad. So here's what we've got so far. I'm just going to work on around and add the ribbons all the way around. And then I've got some greenery picked out that I'm going to add to it. Hopefully I won't have you guys on here forever. But I sure do appreciate y'all sticking around with me. You know, you can never have a big enough workspace. This huge table that I've got, and I can still fill it up so much that I need more room. Aw, thank you, Ginger. It's easy when you're working on a design, something, you know, that you kind of get your mind on, whether it's you make signs or you make wreaths or whatever. It's easy to forget sometimes that you've got people watching. That's why I told Jim he has to help me with comments, because I will either miss something or forget to answer someone. But I always try to come back in and check the comments if you've got any questions. I'm gonna need a few more pieces of the gray. This is one of those ribbons that, see how it wants to curl? Some stiff wire in there. we're gonna get rain this week, so all that snow, there'll probably be some areas that will flood actually. Because the snow's melting, and then it's gonna start raining. Oh well, I'm not complaining, I am not complaining. I will take the rain over the snow any day. These ties, though, on this wreath form, I can already tell some of them are gonna need to be trimmed down. Oh boy. Need to cut some more of the black and white. Hey, could somebody tell my husband to come back out here and turn this heater on for me? My shop is in the garage, you guys, for anyone that doesn't know, hasn't watched my videos before. And we are in central Indiana. And although it is much warmer today than it has been this week, it's still a little chilly. So I have multiple heaters out here. And one minute it'll be really hot, and the next minute it'll be freezing. Okay, so I cut a little bit more of the black and white checked. I'm going to probably have to cut more of the other two. Hey there!
I'm watching all the time.
Did you hear me say to tell you to?
Yes. I said okay.
See, I'm not, I can't catch them all. Ginger, where, aren't you in, like, Houston or somewhere? I thought you were somewhere south.
She says she loves the snow as long as I don't have to get out in it.
Yeah, I know.
But no one here knows how to drive when there is ice, so it's dangerous.
Yeah.
People in Indiana should know how to drive on ice and snow, but they still don't.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know that you ever really get used to it. I worked.
Skilled and used to are two different things.
Yeah, I worked in the corporate world for a long time.
Gestapo.
And I hated those days, the drives during the winter. It's just not something I think you ever really get used to. You just do the best you can. And the worst part is the people that won't slow down. I think that's what makes it so dangerous. You can't keep driving at breakneck speed when you got that kind of weather.
Yeah, some people don't get that, and that's why there's accidents.
Aw, who's giving me all the hearts? That guy over there? Thank you, honey.
The one that's been giving you his heart for 35 years.
Aw. You're the best.
I don't know about all that, but you got, well, you had 7 watching, you got 6 now.
Well, thank you, whoever you are. I know I've got Ginger. I think Luann's still on there.
Ginger said people here like to see how fast they can go, but don't think about having to stop.
It's crazy.
Somebody else is hammering you with hearts too.
Aw, thank you. Hearts are the best.
That's awesome. Thank you, folks, for giving her all the hearts.
Yeah, there was a fatality last week. When did we get all the snow? Was it Friday? It was Friday.
Yeah.
And there was a fatality just north of us.
Everybody thinks they should ride 6 inches from the next car instead of 2 or 3 car lengths. Somebody else is giving you hearts.
Thank you. Aww.
Y'all go. That's great.
Somebody ran into the back of an NDOT truck. A snowplow, wasn't it? I think it was a snowplow.
Yeah. Ginger said she can't wait to quit. 40 plus years is enough.
Girl.
Yep.
I hear you. I had been in the same, not the same job. No, not the same job. I worked in construction for 30 years, something, 25, 30 years, I don't know, a long time. And, I mean, I worked with some great people. But, you know, I'm going to be hitting 60 this year. There, it's out of the bag. And I was just done with it. So I am loving being at home and working my wreath business and having our grandson a couple days a week. Yeah. Fighting that traffic and the weather, I'm over it.
You're getting a snowfall of hearts.
Aw, thank you all. Okay, Luann, thank you for hanging with me a little while. Enjoy your dinner.
Have a good evening, Luann.
We'll talk later. I still got to cut more ribbon. Sorry, you guys. I should have had some more of this cut before I went live, but you just never know.
Ginger says she's been with the same oil-filled chemical company since 1978, and she is so over it.
Bless your
I
heart.
can see that. That's a long time, but
yeah, I know. Like I said, I worked with some really great people, but I have not missed it for one day. I'll be honest. I have not missed, I think, not necessarily just the job, but just the commute and the
For over 50 years.
the whole corporate thing. It's just so much. You don't realize it's as stressful as it is until you're out of it. I was definitely ready for a change. Just hang in there, girl. You'll be done soon. And I will be too with this wreath, I hope, eventually. Now, here is a thing that happens to me quite frequently that just really bothers me. Have y'all ever been working on a wreath, if you work on wreaths, and you get to a spot in your ribbon and it's spliced? I don't know if you can see this on the camera, but this is spliced. I mean, I know that there's probably, it's probably necessary for at times, but man, I'm not using that. Oh yeah, healthcare would be a hard field, I think. Our daughter, our oldest daughter is in healthcare. I don't think I could do it. Takes a special person.
Healthcare workers are great.
What was Joanne or Ginger's comment? I saw cards.
She said that it's 41 years she was with that company, and it was a great company, family owned, until it sold 6 years ago, and not the same. I get that. Teresa Johnson says, hello this evening.
Hello, Teresa. If you're just joining me, my name is Vicki. If you haven't watched my videos before, my business name is G&R Design. And I am working on an everyday wreath. I call it everyday wreath because it would work for just about any season. You might want a different one for Christmas or something, but it would work for fall, spring, you know, all the rest of the seasons. In just a second, I'll hold it up and show you what I've got done so far. Okay. This is the tedious part, you guys, when it takes time to get all these pretty little ribbons tied in here. Yes, I am glad I made the decision to leave that world. I miss some of my co-workers, but I was ready for a change. Okay, here's what we've got so far. I see a few spots I need to add a few more ribbons, a few holes, but then we will be, okay, that's what I was going to show you. I call it a year-round wreath because, well, the sign is versatile with the welcome to our home. It could work for about any season. So I'm just finishing up adding some ribbons. Thank you, Teresa. My comment reader apparently took a break. But you see, if you were with me when I started the video and you saw the wreath form that I was using, it's basically a pine wreath form, just like you would use at Christmas time. But this particular one is kind of a burlap color. It's not your typical green. You could use the green ones just like this one, but the burlap color on this one works real well with the colors that I've chosen for this wreath. But you see how by the time you add mesh and all your ribbons and everything, it fills up and you can't even tell what it was, you know, that it was that form of ribbon, or a form, that type of form. Geez, I'm adding a little bit more.
Helen would like to know what size that wreath form is.
A 24-inch. You got to turn the volume off on that, though, honey. Oh, I mean, if you're in here, because I can hear me and then I get all messed up. It doesn't take much for me to lose my concentration. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yes, it's a 24-inch wreath form. The one thing that I did notice about this particular form is the needle ties on it are super long. They're like 6 inches. It's crazy. So the last one that I did on this kind of form, I actually had to come back in and clip some of them off. It's nice when you're adding your different elements. Like if you're going to add greenery or whatever to it, you've got lots to work with as far as a base. But they can kind of stick out too far.
Ginger said it's beautiful.
Thank you, Ginger. I'm really liking the kind of year-round look in wreaths these days. It's, you know, it works for any season. Spring, summer.
Fresh warm hearts.
Oh, thank you. Okay, let's see if I need more.
Ginger wants to know where you found the wreath form.
The wreath forms came from Sim's Pottery. I got them before Christmas. I thought I was ordering the typical green, evergreen, you know, pine-based forms. But I guess I just didn't pay any attention. I'm sure it said that the color was different, but I missed that part. So, it worked great for this kind of a wreath. And I did have, but I don't find it now, the tag. I could give you the number. Ta-da! Alright, if you are interested, this is item number CVW039. It is a 24-inch elevated PVC wreath double with 160 tips.
Suzanne says, first time watching, and the wreath looks beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
That was from Susan Northcutt.
Thank you. Almost back around. I love working with these kind of forms, whether it's the green ones or it's this one, because I mean they're just so easy to work with. And it's like they're almost, to me, almost mistake proof because there's so many twist ties. You can always find something to make it work. And it always looks different once you stand it up, and put it on the wreath form and step back, and then see if there's any holes. So we will do that in a minute. Hey, I've got 10 little eyeballs. Welcome everyone. If I have not recognized your name, I probably didn't see it. So, welcome. Thank you for stopping by. Pretty full. And I still have more stuff to add. So how many wreath makers do I have watching? I know Ginger is. Dang it. That one piece, I keep trying to pick it up and use it. I got one spot, I need one more piece of gray. Suzanne, you're okay. Well, welcome. I should be even more nervous when you have peers, but it seems like anybody that's crafty that does wreaths or signs, paints, whatever, are always the kindest people. Joanne. Well, welcome all of you. Okay, I think I've probably got enough ribbons in here. Maybe. Here's what we've got. Oh my God, I can never get this thing straight. Now I'm going to have to hang it on my wreath stand behind me so that I can step back and take a look. Push this mesh out. My back will be to you some, but I'll try to flip around when I can and catch your comments. Okay, can y'all see me? Can you see the wreath? You don't need to see me, just read. Okay, the next thing I'm going to add is a little bit of greenery. So what I've got this bush, and I believe all of this greenery that I've chosen came from Hobby Lobby. I'm pretty sure. This one is, I don't know, it looks like a seeded boxwood. I'm going to add a little bit of that in. I've already cut a few pieces off. The thing about this that I like so much is you can get several pieces off one branch. I'll cut one off and show you what I'm talking about. If you make wreaths, you know. It's a really stiff wire, but so on this one branch, I can get, if I just needed a little bit, I could get 3 different picks. So I love this branch, or this bush. So I've got some cut for that. I've got a garland that I also got at Hobby Lobby. I have no idea what type of plant it is, but I like it because it's got the different variations in the color. And I've already cut some of it, and what I did with this one was I popped the little branches off and I've picked them, and you can put, they're on the vine, you know, in various places, and you could cut the vine off and pick it and glue it in, or just glue it in, but I popped them off of the vine and have put a steel pick on the end of them so that I can put them wherever. Some of them I put 1, some I put 2, and I'm sure I'll need more. But that way you can kind of make your own pick. You can put it as thick or as thin as you want. So I've got a few of those already picked. And then this white one, again, I can't tell you the name of it. I don't like the leaves, but I'm going to add a few of these in. And I used to know the name of these. Somebody help me. I cannot remember what they are. But I'm going to add a few of those in around because I think it'll blend with the white from the sign. I've got another bush here, but I'm not crazy about it. I don't think I'll probably end up using it. Anyway, while I do this, I'm going to have probably my back to you a good bit, but I'll try to turn around and catch your comments. So what I do when I'm going to add greenery to a mesh wreath or a wreath like this is I cut my stems off and I'm going to glue them in. But I like to place them in the wreath and then step back and see if they're where I want them. You guys probably do the same thing. This one I think I've already used part of it, so there's not that much. And like I said, I don't like these green leaves. These I don't think I'll need to pick, this particular bush, because it's the stem is thick enough. So I'm just going to turn this a little bit and work on it from my view, and then I'll turn it back around so y'all can see it and see where I want to put these. And then I'll glue them in. So I don't have many of these to work with. But it won't take many. It's too long.
Suzanne wants to know, she said she can't see it well. Is that Queen Anne?
Yes, that's what
Lace.
it is. Queen Anne's lace. And like I said, I don't have very much of it to work with, but it'll be okay when I add the other green in. I'm just getting my spots. Yes, that's the type of bush it is. Okay. That's where I'm going to put it. Now, when I add picks into a wreath like this, a wreath form like this. What I typically do is try to find one of the needle ties, and I just make a little loop, and then I can stick my pick in with the glue straight down in there. This one's a little bit long. And then I can take the other tie, twist tie, and twist around there. I've got my glue pen over here.
Suzanne says, absolutely gorgeous.
Thank you. And sometimes I cheat and use a piece of a stem. I always keep all my little stem pieces because they come in so handy. To make sure I don't lose where I was going to put it, I stick one in there while I cut it the length that I want, and I use some glue. Because those things come in handy. This is just one step that I mean, I've seen other people do it, and if y'all are wreath makers, maybe you do it a different way, but I have such a hard time making a wreath on my workbench when it comes to the greenery. It just seems like I need to put it on my stand in order to be able to step back and see if I like, you know, the placement. But that's just me. I've got a couple of boxes with leftover leaves, Luann. Yeah, you know, I never thought of myself as a hoarder until I started doing this, but I'll tell you what, I have a hard time letting go of anything these days. You just never know what you're going to need. And now I'm playing with the ribbons, and that's not what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm just getting me a little twist tie and twisting it so I've got a little loop. And that's what I need to fill my glue pan up. That's what I'm gluing my stems into.
She asked if you bought or had your stand made.
My hubby made my stand. Mr. Hustleman himself. He's pretty handy to have around. I have a blog post that's got specific detailed instructions on how he made this. I like it because I've got a taller one, but I like this one because I'm short and I can put it on a table and place it where I want to, move it around, and it works great for me. But anyway, I've got a blog post that has directions on how he made it. However, we are in the process of redoing our website, so that blog post is probably not available right now, but it will be in the next few days.
And I made the other stands too.
He made my other stands. He makes all my stuff. Okay. I wish I had more of that. I really like that, but nope, I don't. So here's what we've got so far. Now I'm going to go back through and add some greenery. Like I said, I've already got some cut. Yeah, I like this. This particular mesh, the last mesh that I used, this has got more of the mesh in it than the jute, and it's hard to keep it from getting in the way of the slime. So anyway, moving on. I don't know how much of this I'll need, but I've already got it cut, and I'm just gonna place it randomly throughout the wreath, and then I'll see if I can
Luann
get more.
Douglas said, my husband is pretty good at that stuff too. They do come in handy.
They
don't
do
Vicky?
come in handy, yeah. I'm gonna have to keep them around, I reckon.
I think that's the only time she likes me.
No. Yeah, right, that's why I've been married to you for like half my life.
35 years. Going on 36.
Forever.
Daddy, you felt sorry for me.
Well, you just do so much stuff for me. Can't get rid of you. Yes, he is a Mr. Fix It. Fix it, build it, whatever. He can figure out a way to do it. He's building my website right now.
Told him I'm the unpaid hired hand, LOL.
Well, I mean, just think of how bored you would be if I didn't come up with all these cool projects for you to do.
Just being with you, my honey, makes it worth it.
Oh, I don't like that. Don't like that too. Oh, you're the best.
We are blessed with each other, or at least I'm blessed, and she may not feel that way.
Oh, hush. Oh, hush. We are very blessed.
Luann said, mine is redoing his workshop now since I didn't give him space in my new shop.
You go, girl.
Sounds familiar,
Yeah, well, my shop is in my garage.
but I gave you the whole garage.
Yeah, I took over the garage, yeah.
It's all right,
I mean,
though.
but we've got enough room. I can still put my car in when, you know, we're going to get a big snow.
Yep.
And the one thing I'll have to say about this particular type of branch, these stems are super stiff.
Suzanne Northcutt said, do you have an alert as to when you go live?
I don't. I'm trying to get that mini chat thing set up.
Yeah, we need to get that. So that
I've
way
got it
people know.
started. I'll try to get it finished this week. I've had several people ask me, you know, all the things. Honey, you're going to have to turn that volume down because I can hear myself and then I think I'm talking to myself
hear
over
that?
there. I can hear it, yes.
Wow.
You can't hear it?
I can barely hear it because I got the phone in front of me.
You're supposed to be reading me comments so I
I
don't
have
miss
been.
anything. Okay. This is a stiff branch.
Must be a guy.
Hmm?
Said it must
Oh,
be a guy
hush.
branch. You know, while you're plugging in over there on that easel, you might zoom in a little bit with your.
I've got couple more I want to get placed in here. I want to see. But see, I can't. My head's in the way of them seeing what I'm doing, I'm sure. I've already cut these pieces, I might as well use them.
Luann says she uses a lot of the boxwood, it fills in so well.
Oh, I know, I love it. I think I need just one more.
Suzanne said, much better, thank you, because you zoomed in.
Oh, good. Yeah, just, you can't see me, just yell at me. He'll tell me you're yelling at me. Okay. Alright, I'm going to show you what I got before I glue them all in. Am I in the picture?
Well, there's a small
Oops,
delay.
wrong way. There we go. Oh my. Christ, trying to get in this spot. Anyway, you get the idea.
I was still seeing you plugging them in.
Oh, well, you'll see that part in a minute. Okay, so I've got them placed.
There we go.
Now I'm going to come back through and glue them. And then, now can you see, you'll have to tell me if you can see if the picture's right now.
What are we doing here? There we go. Yeah, that let them see it better.
Okay.
Froze for a second.
I'm making my little loop, so I've got a spot to...
Bunches and bunches of hearts.
Oh, bless you guys. Thank you.
And just so y'all know, we will work on getting you better views and angles as we go. All you got to do is let us know if you can't see something or there's a question.
Yeah, and he'll fix it. He'll fix it for me. I'm gonna get him to do a wreath one of these days.
I'll do one. It may not be pretty, but I'll do one.
You do a wreath and I'll fix something. How's that?
Okay.
And maybe I better just stick to the wreath and you better stick to fixing stuff.
What was that?
What?
Something just popped over here.
Great.
Suzanne said, each day we're all learning.
Yeah.
And Jennifer said, thank you to Luann that she may be hollering at her because she needs to get her Facebook and stuff set up.
Oh yeah, Luann Luann, I think, just got her mini chat set up.
I'm going to go outside here a minute.
All right, honey. I'll be just fine. Don't worry about me.
I'll worry about you all the time, honey.
He really is such a good guy. I would be lost without him. And the great thing about our 30 years together, 35 years, however long it's been, hell, I lose track sometimes, is we still have fun together. You gotta be able to laugh. fill up my glue pot. I got 4 people on here, you guys. I'm losing people. What's going on? Well, I know the video's probably been going a while. It takes a minute to finish something like this. Gotta turn it just for a second. I'll let you see the finished product as soon as I get these last couple pieces glued in. Yes, thank you, Ginger. I'm a big fan of this greenery. It's so easy to work with. I've used it on a lot of my bicycle wheels. I really like it. I love the boxwood look. And there's so many different versions of it. Oops. You know, it's hard to get a setup for live videos where you can see the full project, you know, from all angles when you're working, because, you know, it's a big wreath and you gotta kind of move around. So I'll try to remember to turn it so you can see it. But that's why I like working with these kind of forms, because there's so many ties, the needle ties, that, you know, you're going to find somewhere to glue what you need to in. Okay. Here's what we've got. I've got, and by the time you get this much in to this size form, it's getting kind of heavy. So I've got a couple more of the other greenery that I want to add, just because I won't put much of this in, but it gives it more of that flowy look. And it's another texture. The nice thing about, I think, for using a pick on these is you don't have to find a needle tie. You can put it straight into the mesh, and then you have to, you know, once it's dry, you have to go to the back and turn the pick in on itself, so you don't, nobody gets poked or cut or anything, because these are really sharp. So, but the bad thing about using the picks is you can't really, if you've already got them picked, you can't put them throughout the wreath and see if you like the placement, because once you put that pick in there, I mean, you can pull it back out, but it's a lot harder. It can rip up your ribbon and all that stuff. So here goes. I know one right there. Seem like I got my spot right. This just gives it another kind of dimension, I think. It's getting pretty full. But it adds a little bit of length to the bottom. I'm going to have to cut some more. Yes, lots of texture. I'm only going to add a few more of these. I like to just take them off the vine, and then you can make it as thick or as thin as you want. I cut the little pieces off the end because they kind of get too thick if you don't. You can make your own little pick. I like to work with garlands. You get a lot, for the cost. need one more and it's about done. No, I did not paint the sign on the wreath behind me. I don't remember who I got it from, to be honest. It's one of the sign painters. I don't remember. I wish I could say I painted it because it's really cute. Alright. Just one more. No, you can always add just one more. One more and I promise I'm done.
Get your earpiece in.
No, honey.
Deborah Foster is watching.
Hello, Deborah.
Got 7 total.
Okay. I'm going to stop right here because I could keep playing with it all night. But I think at this point we're pretty well done. Now let me see if I can get this in here straight. Here's what we ended up with. I'm sure I will come back through and, you know, clip off some of these ties that are, you can just bend them in, the little tinsel ties if you feel like they're too long, or just bend them down. I can see them from my side, you probably can't, but that's a wrap. It's finished. I hope you can see it. Do I have this thing straight in the picture?
This way some.
This way, so.
There you go.
All right.
Deborah said very pretty.
Thank you. So anyway, that's how you make a wreath with those evergreen wreath bases that you get at Christmas time.
Suzanne said, beautiful wreath, a pleasure to meet you this evening. Good
Thank
night.
you. Good night. Good night.
Thank you, Suzanne.
If I missed any of your questions or comments, I'll try to come back through and see if I can answer them. But I appreciate y'all hanging out with me and watching me finish this project. Good night.